I just wanted to say, as we get ready to start this piece of the afternoon, that in my mind, and I just want to make that clear, my mind, my thoughts, my heart, since I'm before you, as to say, I feel like those that were on this stage before us up until this point are our modern day freedom fighters. And so are you. So we honor, while I am a believer and a person of faith, just have to say, we honor the creativity that's in this space. We honor the greatness that are in the midst of you. And we welcome you to this conversation that I have to say is going to be like an appetizer because we have a short period of time. However, I have a very packed panel full of, in their own rights, could do their own panel by themselves. But I will have 4 individuals before you. I myself, my name is Adrian Owens. I work for the Office of Economic and Workforce Development. And thank you. Thank you. So happy, honored, and humbled to be with you in this space today. And I just want to say that in the midst of this conversation, please keep in mind, like I said, every one of them in their own right could do their own panel. So I will try my very best to facilitate this conversation that is much needed amongst Black artists today, amongst African-American artists that are from this city, and also that have impacted in a way that way before this work started. But now through the Dream Keepers, my office, and I get the pleasure of working with grantees, art providers that are being funded through the Dream Keeper initiative, such as the African American Arts and Culture Complex. Yes, let's give them a hand. I have the African American Shakespeare Company. Yay! I have the San Francisco Bay Area Theater Company, which we heard Rodney sing earlier, and they're in the building all over the place. Then we have the Bay Area, the Bayview Opera House, represented here today. Whoop, whoop. And then Zacco Dance Company. And then Homeless Children Network doing, thank you, they're doing healing community through creative arts. How many of us know we need some healing? We need healing. We gotta acknowledge that. That's important. And then we have the New Community Leadership Foundation. And then we have what you just saw, the film of Amos Gregory, who runs the Veterans Alley Mural Project. So those are the inaugural art providers, grantees with the Office of Economic and Workforce Development on the workforce side. Many folks know Larry McClendon, who's my counterpart on the econ side, but we are working, this office took a stab at writing a procurement around art, and they had never done it before. So this is historical in its work itself, and I'd like to say that each and every one of the grantees are doing phenomenal work. And more than, while we know data is certainly very, very important, the impact and the stories that I've been hearing from the individual creatives who have been, for lack of other words, starving to be in a space, to be at liberty to create. And so that's what the Dreamkeeper Initiative has afforded to Black African-American artists in this city. So we're grateful for that. So without further ado, let me get started. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'd like to start by introducing and bringing to the stage Miss Ashley Smiley from the Bayview Opera House. Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce no other than Dr. Suga-T Stevenson coming to the stage. And then I'd like to bring up behind her Miss Coco, who's new to the San Francisco Arts Commission. And she's got some great and wonderful news about grants if you're interested in that. Please come on. You guys, I'm gonna sit right here, so take your seats. And then last but certainly not least, as you are seeing the beautiful work of many in San Francisco know already, Mr. Malik Seneferu. So we provided some handouts with everyone's kind of complete bio. We didn't want to take a lot of time spending, although they could in their own right, and you certainly hold your interest. However, we want to jump into a conversation about life and arts in San Francisco, and in particular as it impacts the African American Black community. And these wonderful 4 individuals are doing marvelous work in community, marvelous work on their own as creatives and artists that you'll hear about as we go through our conversation. And I definitely gonna have some time for Miss Suga-T to be able to talk about what she's doing now. Many of us know her as a part of her hip hop mogul career and working with her family and all, but she's doing a whole bunch of other stuff that is good to know. So that's why she's here. So thank you. We'll jump into it. I want to start first asking the room, how many creatives do we have here in this space today? Yay. Thank you for being here. We honor you and welcome you into this conversation. I'd also like to ask, how many of you are receiving Dreamkeeper funding in any way? Yay. Okay. Hey. So that said, you're in the right room. We want to have a conversation. We want to leave space for you to be able to ask some questions as well. Ms. Coco here from the Arts Commission has a lot of good information about grants and the process of connecting. The Arts Commission not only funds organizations, but they also fund individual artists. So that's an important thing. So let's take a breath.
Yes, Madam Moderator.
Mm-hmm. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here, and I'm also happy, and I'm proud of all y'all. I'm gonna say that. I'm proud of all of us doing this work, and this is a very momentous occasion, truly a celebration, and we are grateful in this space. I'm truly grateful. So I'm gonna jump into some of these questions, and as we go, and then I also wanna say, if you haven't received one of the swag bags, there's a bunch of information about all the arts organizations that are being funded by our office, as well as some swag promotional items and information, detailed information for the work and the different programs and services to participate in, as well as Malik Seneferu, as you're seeing his art being brought up to the stage. I want to say he put a couple of prints. I have at least one print in each bag. That's an original from Malik. A gift to you. Thank you, thank you. Yes, so I have a couple of San Francisco natives, I know for sure. Whoop, whoop. In the room, yes. And I wanted to have them, because as I understand it, I've been having a lot of conversations with a lot of my creatives and artists and providers talking about historically what it's been like in San Francisco for Black artists, and how, and for many times and many years, not being able to have money to do the things that you'd like to do, not being able to have the resource, the space, and feeling, having to work a job and then do your art on the side, and not being valued, and all those things. And so I've been hearing a lot about that, and I'm also hearing conversely that now, as a result of this funding, we're now seeing we're hearing a different testimony, let's just say that. And so it's a blessing to hear that. So I'm gonna jump into, and I'm gonna ask Ms. Smiley and Brother Malik to answer, can you talk about some of the challenges and barriers that you faced as local Black artists in San Francisco?
Hello. Hey, what's up? I think one of the biggest barriers, I would love to say access, but beyond access, it's education. It's actually knowing. I would always turn around and see way after the fact that people got grants for things, that they were chosen or selected, that this amount of money was out there, that these organizations had things. And I was like, what newsletter is that on? Where is that? Where was that email? Where was that Facebook post? I have no idea what is happening. And so, and I think for me, I have to say that I was very privileged to move in a few theater spaces that allowed me to start learning the names of some of the organizations and start finding out. But then what I realized is that the rest of my people had no idea what was going on. And it was always too little too late. And so, yeah, education and access, and also, timing, and also being paid for my labor. Being paid for my labor was a major thing, because, I love exposure, but exposure does not tell your San Francisco landlord that you got some exposure and watch them put you on the street. And so that was always a thing too, but yeah, just knowing about what's out there and also how to do it, right? Grants have specific language, and I would say those would be the biggest barriers, is getting that information out there and also knowing how to do it, and do it in a way that's actually gonna get your success, or else, yeah, you're gonna be hustling, driving Uber Eats and doing all the things, and your art becomes secondary when all these other people get to make it their actual career.
Give it up to her, give it up. So, my art was always valued because I was the first valuer of it.
Amen.
So with that being said, my family, we grew up in a financial desert in San Francisco. I grew up, my siblings, I'm the oldest of all my siblings. But I think as an artist, to really be put on in the city, as we say, it's still a progress, because the thing is that the position that I have is me scraping my knuckles on the concrete to make sure I made a place for myself and made sure that the space existed for me when, I was living in Hunters Point, as a kid, and got a chance to see a mural done by Dewey Crumpler. Anybody heard of his name? Give it up to him, give it up to him. So Dewey Crumpler, I saw him doing a mural. I was 5 years old, never forget. Thank you. And so with that experience, I wanted to do that, but I never really got the open-ended invitation to be able to do something like that. However, there were entities like Japantown Art Media who asked me to, actually I approached them with my sketchbook. I was 19 years old. And they said, well, we're doing this mural in North Beach with all of the cultures, and we want you to paint your culture up there. So that mural was there for about 20 years, and then they had to erase it because they tore down the North Beach projects. So my first entity was really making it in my community, making it true to the people that I lived around, and that's how I made what I do today.
Thank you. We are grateful for you, Brother Malik, truly, truly grateful for you. And Ms. Suga-T, I'd like to ask you, you are from the Bay Area, ma'am. I'd love to hear your some challenges and barriers that you had overcome even to be where you are today.
Okay. Well, being first, only woman that innovated in hip hop first.
Give it up to her. Give it up, give it up, give it up.
From the Bay, with guys, and you get a lot of challenges of all different type of stuff. I was blessed because I had my brothers to protect me. So that was very helpful, because it could have been a lot of stuff going on, especially when I was young and wild. So they protected me very well, and it was my daddies on the road basically blocking me. But the beautiful thing is you still get other challenges. Like I was a young mother. My daughter was 16 when I had my first daughter. I was 17 with two. So I raised them through my whole career. And so, they're 35 and 34 now.
That's right, that's right.
Thank you. And so, just some, I never wanted to escape my first responsibility, and that's, being a mother and then making sure that I didn't miss out on my relationship to have a chance to go to heaven. So there's different segments in my career that was challenging because, when I got finished performing, my mother was like, okay, where you at? Okay, get home. Come get your kids. I didn't want to leave them with nannies, so that was a little challenging because, I didn't really run around, and so sometimes people would get the wrong impression as if I didn't participate in everything because if it didn't make sense, then I wasn't just going to be hanging out because I needed to be with my children. So that was, just as a mother, so I can really relate to a lot of parenting, the normal parenting challenges and benefits. Then, of course, you have to deal with a lot of jealousy, because sometimes people don't understand your circumstance and they think everything is just laid out for you. So a lot of emotional abuse, so a lot of ways, which is why I work as a coach now, a wellness coach, because it's very important, to for people to be healthy. And we already get beat up in life in general in a lot of ways, but, that was some of the other personal things. It's been like 36 years, so it's a whole lot, but in different times of my career, personally and professionally. And then, of course, stepping out and seeing everybody, I kind of matured quicker than most people. I always looked at the kids as if they were mine. So I didn't want to add to a lot of the confusion that started going on in hip hop, which was just messages of drugs and violence and alcohol and pushing foolishness at the end of the day and redirecting, the people that followed and respected us to the dark side, basically, things that really wasn't going to benefit them after I realized that hip hop had become stagnated. And it just kind of made it the hip hop industry that everybody wanted to stay in one space. And I really wasn't into that. I was an innovator, so I believed in growth and opportunities and not just staying in a box. You grow out of your foolishness and then you continue to go. So because I took that route to, go get education and, kind of do other things so I can control my own space and not have to only depend on, one set, because everybody don't mature with you real quick, So, that's like, oh, well, you want to do that, but we ain't ready for that, so you figure it out. So I had to kind of create my own jobs and that's how I became an entrepreneur and build my own space so that I can have more flexibility and freedom. Right. And I didn't want to miss out on my kids one time of their life, being their ages, so I made myself have a space that I can have it all, But that was kind of my main challenge. And then, of course, today, looking at all the mess that's going on, that's being presented to us, it's really challenging seeing people get poisoned and they don't really know it. So just watching it and knowing the truth, the whole thing, is kind of difficult. So it's, it becomes personal because these are like my babies, especially my people, my brothers and sisters, you know what I mean, that already got enough challenges and different things is stereotypical. So it's a personal thing because I really take it personal. Most people get on stage and they just want to perform and they're fine with that. I wanted a little bit more than just being a performer. So, being like that, you get underestimated. You get, sometimes people don't understand, so they make up rumors and, because they're dying to be on stage. I didn't die to be on stage. I just wanted a well-rounded life. So that's it. Thank you, you guys.
Thank you
so much.
But wait. I want you, thank you. Yes, we give honor to that. I would like you, while you talked about, while you are known definitely from the music industry, but just to talk about what you are doing now and just get into a little bit, explain it a little bit, let the folks know what you're doing now and some of the other programs. And let me tell you, this woman is busy. All day and night working. But I want to give, first of all, honor to that and thank you for that. But I want you to let the audience give us a little bit about what you are doing now. And some of this information is also in the red bags that are around the room so that you can know what she is doing and plug in. Because that stuff, I love how you took from that music career, you took it to, okay, I got that, and the hard knocks and getting through that and breaking ground and trailblazing and doing all the things to be able to open up doors for others behind you, and mentorship, but now being able to be on the other side to bring healing, restoration, and helping folks make these connections in ways that if they hadn't had a person or an example like yourself, wouldn't have someone to identify with. So can you just briefly tell us about some of the other projects that you're working on?
Sure. So, so basically, like I said, y'all, 36 years in, so it's a lot of information. I'm trying to summarize it. But everything that I went through, it all turned out for the good, trust me. Right. The good thing is that I took it and I used it and created a job out of it. And then I started helping other people create jobs out of their lives. And so today, I'm the Sprinkle Me Social Enterprise. I'm the founder of that. I used that originally because I knew somebody would take it and use it. So I made everything Sprinkle Me Learning Academy, Sprinkle Me Boutique. And just in case you guys don't know, it's inspired by the Sprinkle Me hit song with me and my brother that's double platinum and everyone just loves. So I created a whole enterprise, and I wanted it to be a helpful enterprise to help people. So I kind of was a little bit ahead of my thinking. Like I said, I wanted to do good, and my goal was to really, because I grew up in the church, so I was scared to go to hell, not trying to be religious, but bottom line was I was like, I'm gonna get rich, famous, and I'm gonna save the world. That was my mindset, because I don't want to go to hell. That's what it buckled down to, because I had the living daylight scared out of me. So my uncle would turn off the lights in the church and be like, "This is what hell looked like." And it'll be pitch dark, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. So that was my original plan. So it always kept me conscious, So even though y'all know my hood, I have a hood brand. So I'm grateful for that. But I think hood is good too when you do the right things with it and you take it somewhere and you can reach back and see the same situations and transform people, in the spaces that is more helpful and supportive to them. So that's what I do. So I have a social enterprise, like I said. Y'all know what a social enterprise is. Sprinkle Me Learning Academy. It's a coaching and development online school. I started that in 2014, and it's a coaching development exploration enrichment platform. So we develop leaders, we develop youth, we have mentor programming. We use it as a platform in all of our divisions and support others when they need that virtual support. So it's courses and again coaching, development, webinars, whatever we want to do, multiple classes, and it's available to everybody, the businesses, the general public, and to our programming. And then we have the Sprinkle Me Boutique. So I started that in 2006. That's a fragrance and production and fragrance and cosmetic production company, and we use that and we support families of children with autism, and we also use it as a work exploration platform. And of course, we produce and create product lines, beauty, cosmetics. I have a master's in organizational management and supply chain management, so I want to kind of supply the chain, and we make them for ourselves and others, and we have an online boutique called SprinkleMeBoutique.com. Then we have the Work It Well Project. These were all built over the years, and it's a social, a community organization, so we do everywhere from wraparound services. Our goal is, and mission is to promote healthy, safe, economically empowered, and that's our goal, is to give people the tools to be that. So the Work It Well Project, we have multiple programs in there that we serve the general public and we serve organizations. And then we have the last division, which is the Suga-T music. So I'm on my 25th album.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so, in the midst of it all, I still beat everybody with the albums out of the women in hip hop. But these are, it's a combination of music. Like Kim said, I was getting tired of hip hop, and I wanted to explore the other opportunities in my gifting, so I have blues albums, jazz, I'm a songwriter, hip hop, gospel, and then everybody already know the hip hop. So with a dance album coming in April, and then just releasing a new one today that I'm dedicating to the Her Museum. So the Her Museum is the other division. These are divisions that I'm speaking on within the scope of this. So the Her Museum is a community. We promote community wellness, as well as we empower women and girls, and it's an arts platform. And our goal is to create it where the legacy is never lost of specifically women, Black women who are role models and who help pave the way. And then we have mentor programs. We have different forms of programming that connect in all the areas mentioned. We do all different types, from healing workshops through the arts and creativity, through Mentor, the SOS Save Our Sisters project, where we get girls in violence reduction and prevention, and create sisterhoods out of the whole movement and teach them how to build community and come together like we did back in the day. So so it's a very powerful platform. NCLF is the partnership, and they came and supported me through the Dream Initiative. Thank you. And I'm happy to be here in San Francisco serving. San Francisco has always supported everything I've done through the years, and I'm just grateful to be here. And that's my movement.
And that's why I wanted her to say that, because while it is a lot, and for organizations in the room, educators in the room and such that could utilize mentorship programs, for someone that can feed into the soul in a way that just the general population doesn't really know how to do for our people. And that's just the truth. So it's a blessing to have someone doing a lot.
I just want to say that the Bayview Opera House would be very, very honored if you wanted to partner on any of these endeavors. I'm just saying, it's a real cute building. But what you're speaking to is a lot of the work that we are also trying to do, that we've been able to do through Dreamkeeper. Like, we have our Tools of the Trade Artist and Professional Development Program. We're trying to get into more mentoring programs. And so it would be beautiful to be able to partner with you and actually create a home base, because there's an amazing amount of artists in the Bayview. And it would be really, I mean, also, like, I'm from here, and Sprinkle Me is the thing, okay? So on a personal level, I want to say that I know Suga-T on a Suga-T and Smiley basis, right? But also, because one, I respect it. Two, people don't see black women doing it enough. Right. And they need to. Right. And also because, again, like, we have a stage, right, for people to learn how their stagecraft. We have a sound system, we have an auditorium, we have virtual setup, and so it would be beautiful to be able to really bring that and help develop people in all the ways. We got all the time. Give me a calendar, girl, let's do it.
That's why I put her,
let's do
Smiley.
it.
That's why she on the panel.
Yeah, hey, I see you. This is what we're doing.
Let's move it along.
Yes.
Next question. And this is for those that are definitely direct recipients, such as my sister Smiley here. But I also want to bring Coco into the conversation, and Brother Malik, and then Suga-T, to talk about the impact that the Dreamkeeper Initiative funds have made on the arts community here in San Francisco, and as it pertains to the participants you work with, the grantees you work with, the community San Francisco as a whole you work with, and you too, Suga-T. So, Ms. Smiley? And then I would like Ms. Coco to speak next after her.
Absolutely. Okay, now look. Let me see if I can make this concise. So earlier I talked about access. One of the major things that we've been able to do at the Bayview Opera House with the Dreamkeeper Initiative is to start actually providing more access to information. So in your cute little red bag, there's a flyer, and it says Professional Development Opportunities from BVOH. So those are the things that we're actually working on, our Tools of the Trade Transformative Creative Entrepreneurship Cohort, which is going to be teaching Black artists and artists of color in San Francisco how to write for grants, right? But not necessarily going, oh my gosh, I'm a person of color, I'm so sad, help me, because that's what people have always told us we need to do, give a sob story, right? Sell our sadness and our trauma. I'm not interested in that. We're not about to do that anymore. So I want people to actually be able to look at their artwork, at their art form, what their impact is, and then write from that. Say, this is why I deserve this money, and this is how I'm going to get it and speak towards it. And so that's one thing. We also have our tools, we got a free tax workshop for artists, okay? Because artists can get deductions that y'all don't even know about, okay? We have to look at those ugly 1099s, them extra W-2s, all this other stuff that's all fuddy-duddy and IRS-y and whatever. And so we have someone who's coming in. Not only has she been a lighting designer and a technician for over 20 years, but she's a certified tax preparer also. So she's coming in to do a free tax workshop on the 23rd. And then we also have an on-stage writing and performance cohort. That's from Shakespeare to Shange. And I really do mean that they're going to be looking at the text and the work of William Shakespeare, as well as Ntozake Shange, looking at verse, prose, movement, and how you tell your story on stage, and then they will have a performance. These are all the things that you usually wouldn't get unless you were at a university or in a special group. But at the Bayview Opera House, you come get that schooling for free, and actually, when you finish, you could get paid. Like, that's what we want. Because also your time in these spaces is labor. We know that people are working multiple jobs. If you're sitting at a computer or you're in these classes for hours during the week, we also know that you need to be able to sustain. And so that's also what we are able to do through Dreamkeeper, is offer people the opportunity to have their labor accounted for, paid for, and then I'm just all around here posting you on social media and telling you all the other stuff you can get into so you can go further, because we want development and growth. There's more, but I'll just stop right there.
Ashley Smiley, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, Coco.
Let's see here. I have notes just because this is actually my first panel. I'm nervous, I'm excited, but I'm also just sitting with so much love. I think that, what the impact that the Dreamkeeper Initiative funds have made on the arts community here in San Francisco, I feel like I'm already hearing that. I'm a relatively new program officer, but I'm already getting to talk with my grantees about the work that they're doing in the community. And really, I can just say, the Arts Commission invested $2.1 million in arts and culture organizations. And that's a lot of money for the arts. And that's a lot of money to be given at this time and trusted to our African American leaders. And so I'm just even one of the organizations that we also fund, San Francisco Bay Area Theater Company. I just got to, yes. Oh yes, I see you, Phaedra. And I want to just lift you up in this story. So we had a FY22 orientation on Friday, and I got to meet with Adam and Phaedra and learn that Phaedra came up right through a mentoring program with SFHRC and is now an employee and an artist.
That's what we want.
All of it. So that's just, one small example.
Thank you.
Of what I'm getting to experience. But I am looking forward to experiencing much more.
Mm-hmm. And so I myself don't come from the art world. I say my extent of being an artist would just be color by numbers. However, what I am is a lover of my people. What I am is a community organizer. What I am is a supporter of those that aspire to do more but have been told they can't. So that's what I do. But in that saying, the impact that I have seen has been significant to hear the stories and see even the presentations of the pieces, of the dances, of seeing performances at Bayview Opera House. And these are lay people, these are not professionals, but they're learning and making their way. But there's nothing like seeing people do what they were created to do.
Amen.
That is a spiritual experience of itself. And what I really have been connecting by talking to individuals great as these folks is that art is about touching the soul. Mm-hmm. It's about touching the heart. And I feel like for African Americans, we do a lot of our talking through our movement.
Absolutely.
And so in that process of doing that and being able to, and we like to expound and give others hope and support and
yes,
orators. Yeah. And so in that and understanding that, it's just been very important. It's been such a humbling experience, listening and being a part of these projects, being a part of this work, and seeing the significance and the changes that it's making in the lives of Black San Franciscans. So that's, in and of itself, is a beautiful thing.
I also want to say, too, just hopping in for a second, that having you as someone who's a program officer, as a grant coordinator, say that and see us is another impact of the Dreamkeeper Initiative. Because people were not doing that before, which is why we were all pissed off and mad. Not to say that we're not pissed off and mad before, but like that's why, right? Because people were not seeing us, they were not seeing our value, they were not putting any investment into us. And so even knowing that you, like, I'm sure your color by numbers are gorgeous, okay? But like, regardless of where you fall on the artistic spectrum, the fact that you see the importance and the impact and the necessity, that in and of itself is revolutionary because people have not been doing that for us. And so I really want to commend you, SFOEWD, Dreamkeeper, and thank y'all for seeing us and doing that work, because you also deal with artists and we're all crazy. So that takes a lot of patience. Like we are special. And so and other times people would use that as an excuse to leave us behind. Oh, you're not this, you're not fitting into these lines, you're not doing that or the third, we don't have time for you. But you take the time for us and with us, and that makes a difference, because that makes me and the other people that I work with go, someone has my back. I can keep trying to be an artist, I can keep trying to be a creative because I know at least somebody sees me and has my back. And that, sometimes that's really all you need to keep going. I'm not gonna say money is not great, but I'm saying that support in the first place is really fantastic. And a lot of artists and artists of color don't get that. Because it's not seen as a career field and it's not seen as a money-making enterprise, and therefore people will put it lower on the totem pole, tell you need to put that aside like it's a hobby or whatever, and you and your office have been like, no, we see it as a career field. We see it as something of worth and value, and therefore we want to invest in it, and that makes a huge difference. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Smiley. So, Brother Malik, I'd like to hear about,
Yes.
You have done a lot of projects just in the last year and a half, and especially since this initiative started, but you've also been doing work for years, decades with the city and programs, teaching and instructing art, now seated in Alice Griffin, I started to say Double Rock, but for those from San Francisco, sitting at the Rock, sitting, in that community, and I want to hear about what you're doing with that, but I'd like to hear about some of the projects that you've done over the last year and a half, and if any way where you can talk about how Dreamkeeper Initiative has impacted your work and where you are now.
Right. Well, let's give it up to these black women right here. Black woman is God, right? Black woman is God. Look at that. It's a beautiful thing. The Dreamkeeper Initiative. Let's first give it up for Cheryl Davis.
Yes.
Black woman is God. So I worked with Cheryl Davis for over 30 years. And from anything that she had going on, she was like, Malik, I need you to come teach these children. I would come over and do that. We'd do a workshop. The Bayview Opera House was the first place that I talked them into allowing me to hang artwork in the Opera House. So later it became a gallery. And I did that all throughout 3rd Street and wherever I could go to get my work going, because I understood that I couldn't depend on a government entity to open up the door for me to come in and actually be who I am. So in the process of me becoming that, over the last couple of years, I've done a series of street murals that spawned out of the Black Lives Matter mural development throughout the country. And I started out doing murals like Black Reparations Now, Invest Black, things that were the voice of the community. And so the idea was to speak to the black family. And in the concept of speaking to the black family, I'm really reaching the children before they turn to age 10. Because once they got that before the age 10, now it's a part of their culture. You can now get their attention because you got them before they're 10. By the time you're 10, you think you're grown, and I'm making my own thing. I'm about to go outside, But my mother was quick draw McGraw, but that's a whole nother thing. Playing no games. But on the other end, it's just like growing up in Hunters Point, growing up all over San Francisco, traveling around San Francisco with my little fast pass as a kid, and just seeing all of the great wealth that was around the city, and then have to come back to Fillmore, come back to Hunters Point, Sunnydale, all those other places that was just financial and financial ruin. So if you haven't had the chance, I heard the ring, but if you haven't had the chance, look at the video, Take This Hammer. And it's when James Baldwin comes to Hunters Point and he's talking to the young people about the conditions that was worse than Alabama. So you had black people that were living in slave conditions, enslavement. They were enslaves and not slaves. But with that being said, you know, I chose to push outside of that and pull myself up and bring my community with me in the process. So I'm still in the progress of that.
I know you just, Suga-T talked about some of the things that you've been doing. Her museum is a project that you're doing directly with NCLF, right? Can you speak to that? I saw the images in their space, and a lot of them are women.
Yes.
Yes. Can you speak to that?
Sure. So what we wanted to start off with first is highlighting the women of San Francisco, black women of San Francisco who helped pave the way. And so we did our first exhibit highlighting those and others who were in collaboration that was here from San Francisco to help make it happen. It was a success. We highlighted the mayor. We created art images for all those women who were highlighted or those who impacted the black community. And so we do that, and then we currently have artistic leadership programs where we put leadership and arts and violence prevention together. So we go to schools and break up violence. We interrupt violence between girls, and then now we're doing between leaders and staff and parents.
Amen.
Yeah. And then we're now doing community wellness. We're asked to do community wellness, leadership, staff development, and wellness to keep people motivated by using the arts. So I like that we can use the arts. It helped me. How did it help me? Is because y'all heard all the business divisions that I have. So it allowed me to bring a lot of the things that I already do in one place and kind of, get my more streamlined, me being one person, and have more time to spend with my grandchildren when I'm, instead of being all over the place. And it also allowed me to be able to highlight women of San Francisco, because San Francisco is often overlooked. And it's one of the biggest, most influential, rich, of all different types of things. And everyone comes here and get credit and benefit off of it. But, I was excited to be able to say, okay, I'll rock with y'all and represent y'all black women, and be able to show the success in their own backyard to so we're looking to go to schools and make sure that everyone knows, because it just, wipes away history when we don't keep us inclusive. And it was a little selfish for me too, as an older woman in hip hop. All they have to do is start a brand and put it in everybody's face, and then everybody forget about us who came and paved the way. So it was a little selfish at first, to be honest with you. Then I was like, I'm gonna rock with for everybody. We in this, So it was a blessing, and we're very grateful. It's in the NCLF building. We do exhibits. We book them for groups and events. And then we have mobile ones, and we also come out and do presentations of all different types. So, and virtual. So that's it.
Bayview Opera House has real nice walls. Art gets hung on them.
You already made your connection, Smiley.
I'm with you. I was going to tell you that I've been to the Bay Opera House. I did comedy there one time. I did you remember? Did you ever? She wasn't there. Okay.
She wasn't there at the time.
Okay.
I remember you came.
Okay, and then this brother, he know me because I had programs in. I've been creeping through here for a while. And
creeping through the cuts.
In Hunters Point, I had a girls' academy working with girls. So, so this was what 15 years ago.
Yeah, almost 20 years. Man.
Yeah,
Give it up to her, y'all.
So it's a second home, kind of,
And you're more than welcome, sis.
Thank you.
We're going to shift a bit and talk about, we want to hear from Ms. Coco to talk about the funding opportunities, but I will expand that if we have time. I don't know what my time is because I don't see a clock, but my beautiful timekeeper, my colleague Franz here, that's sitting in the audience giving us, ringing the bell.
Doing the hard work.
So that said, let me put my glasses on. Having funds and or resources to support art creative projects are essential. And Ms. Coco, can you talk about what funds and or resources are available for our local artists and creatives to support their projects?
Yes, I can. And I have my notes. I just want to, I have 2 minutes. Okay, these are some of the upcoming Cultural Equity Endowment grant opportunities. And so the Cultural Equity Endowment prioritizes funding for historically marginalized communities, which includes ours. So for individual artists, we have 2 coming up, and these are regular ones. San Francisco Artist Grants, which are for individual artists, for fund works of art made by artists who live in San Francisco. As well, we also have, and these are up to $20,000. And then we also have the Artistic Legacy Grant, which acknowledges the impact of an artistic leader who has served a San Francisco-based organization consistently for 25 years. And that is for up to $40,000. Hey. And then, and then for organizations, and these are all coming up, the guidelines, the program details will all be released in the summer, fall of this year. So, but I just wanted to lift up the Cultural Equity Initiatives, which supports small and mid-sized arts organizations. With core support grants, which is very important. These are not project-based. This is general operating. You get to decide how you want to spend the funds. And those are up to $100,000 for over 2 years. And then we also have the Creative Space. And that grant program supports the enhancement of San Francisco cultural facilities through planning and facility improvement grants. And we have 2 levels. One is for $50,000, and there's another one for $100,000. And then we also have the Arts Impact Endowment, and that is for both individuals and organizations. And our current funding areas for those are the arts, education, creative exploration, space and capital, art organizations, core support, or again, individual artist support. And in your red SFAC bags, you will, there's a business card in there. On the business card is, well, my name, my email, but also our website. I encourage you all, if you're not already signed up, to sign up for the SFAC newsletter so you can get information as it comes out monthly, and then just check our website and definitely look out for those applications, call for applications.
Yes, and I just want to say I'm not sure how much longer you'll be around for the rest of the day, but do engage Ms. Coco if you have more specific questions.
Right.
And again, like she said, we can get that information out to you as well. We need to wrap this up, unfortunately. We'd love to keep talking to y'all. But here's my last question to you all, and as quickly as we can say this is dreaming forward. Where do you see the state of San Francisco Black artists?
Wow.
I'm afraid to start with you, Smiley, but go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna pretend like I'm back at a poetry slam. Let me see if I can get this in 2 minutes or less. With continued support from the Dreamkeeper Initiative, I believe that San Francisco Black artists in particular will finally get our place. I think we will finally be seen. I think that people will not have the option to overlook us. anymore. And I also believe that we will have created our own space where we are not dependent on the validation of others, where we can support each other, where we can have an arts economic infrastructure in which we know each other, we support each other, we work with each other, we validate each other, we celebrate each other, and we are no longer feeling inadequate or having ideas of imposter syndrome, when really the people that are making us feel like that are the imposters.
Very good.
Brother Malik?
I just want to say, I think this sister is an amalgamation of emotions that have built up inside of me, and she's here right now. Give her another round of applause, please. First, I want to give honor to Matthew Johnson. Matthew Johnson was murdered in 1967 in front of in Bayview Hunters Point, which sprouted off the shootout in front of the Bayview Opera House and inspired the Black Panther Party to carry guns in West and East Oakland. So why do I say that? See, it's these types of events that we can tell these stories through our art. I think that if anyone should come to a Black community anywhere in the Bay Area, in Northern California, they should be able to know what happened with Black people. I think that we have a lot of beautiful Black people that are coming to San Francisco, and the question is, what's going on with the Black people here? How is it they're not able to make it? And it's because our voice has been muted. So, because it's been muted, our children don't wish to voice in that manner. Thus, we have the hip hop, and we have hip hop today, which is great. We want our youngsters speaking from the gut of their spirit. However, there are other ways we can speak, and there's other ways we can thrive and live as we speak and give our outcry. So I can keep going on. You know I can.
Yes,
I'm
thank
gonna
you.
stop. We good.
Thank you. I want to ask, do we have time for at least 2 questions? 8 minutes, all right. I don't know who's. Oh, Miss Tracy? Or that one, sorry. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, no problem. So thank you so much, panelists, for everything. 2 questions. One about KPIs. I know we've talked a little bit about key performance indicators and how we measure how successful our programs are. And it's hard to do so in the current, with the existing framework that's not necessarily geared towards artists all the time. So really asking the question, and it may be rhetorical, maybe we can't resolve it in this conversation, as to how we approach creating new KPIs so that we are able to truly gauge the success of our programs without using sort of measurements for success that existed for other things. So like by a lot of the KPIs that are existing, we haven't shown progress, we haven't this, we haven't that, but we know very well, based on what the panelists are saying and what we've seen in the community, that we are indeed making a huge difference, and the Dreamkeeper has made a massive difference just in the short time that it's been active. So again, for the sake of clarity, I ask, how do we come together to create new KPIs that are reflective of the reality of the impactful work that we do?
And I'm just going to say, that's a work in progress. And I'm also going to say that particularly for our office, that is definitely an earnest work that we are delving into as we begin to understand this world a little bit more through you all's eyes, which has helped me tremendously, as well as my leadership that supports this initiative and the work and are working to make the changes that are necessary as it pertains to governmental funding coming from at least our office, the Office of Economic and Workforce Development, we know the need, we see the need, and we are working earnestly to be able to find out what is necessary and needed. And I like what Brother Malik started with in saying that I value my work first, so it's always been valued. So in understanding that, definitely you artists have been doing that forever. However, understanding what we have the opportunity to do with this work, these are the types of conversations that we are now beginning to have in a real way to be able to make sure that the funding continues to flow, not just from where we are, but from other spaces and places, and giving room in ways that it hasn't happened yet. But I do believe that things are a-churning and a-moving. And as they are moving and we are dreaming forward, we'll be able to experience and map these things out a little better for you all to be able to do what you were made to do. So, and I think that I know that I don't have time because we have a performance that's coming from the art portfolio from Zako Dance Company. But in this moment, I would like to say that I have to forego any further questions just to get everything done. I'm so sorry. And we all knew this would happen.
Yes.
We all knew, like I said, I started with this is an appetizer to conversations yet to come. Okay? So that's the best way I could put it. Thank you for your time and attention. I'd love to thank my esteemed panelists, and thank you for your sacrifices, your work, and your waiting in the wings for this time and season in all of our lives. So thank you. Thank you. We have got to move forward. Sorry.
Can we all do a photo shoot? I just want to do a little selfie with all of us here, if that's okay. Can we all participate in the selfie?
Oh, you did great.
And can I ask Miss Joanna to come up so that you can introduce the dancer, please?
What do we?
More bags. We have some folks that want to get some bags.
Oh, okay.
If anybody participating in the crowd.
I haven't done yoga in a while. I don't know about my balance.
We would like you to be in the photo, so
Anybody
please
wants to
be
be in the
standing
selfie?
prepared to stand. Please be in the photo.
Come on.
I see my brother Jamil, he running out. That's unfortunate, brother. All right, we go. We're gonna turn around this way.
Okay, how are we doing it? Wait, I think we have to go backwards. Oh, we're doing it this way.
Like a photo bomb.
Photo bomb away. Okay, wait.
Got the crowd behind us too. Can we get your hands up? Let's get it.
I see you, right?
Thank you. We're going to gather quickly to our seats. We have a performance, and then after that, I believe the mayor will be here to speak, so we need to get moving.
Hey, everybody. I'm Joanna Highgood. I'm a choreographer and an aerialist. Thank you. Thank you. I'm the artistic director of Zako Dance Theater. We're celebrating our 43rd year. And yeah. And in Bayview, Hunters Point since 1989. Yes. So praise, and gratitude to the Dreamkeepers Initiative and all the amazing DKI team for all the care, love, and support for our free youth performing arts program and 2 of our artist in residence programs in Bayview. We have a couple of, praise and gratitude forever and ever. We have been put back on our feet and are more forceful and found that agency, found that motivation, found that grace, found that quiet, found that presence. Thank you, DKI. Thank you for being with us all, really. So I just quickly a little plug that we have a couple of really incredible performances this weekend on Saturday. One from our Black Futures Artist in Residency program. Choreographer Antoine Hunter is presenting a deaf-led celebration of Black History Month from 12 to noon at Zako Studio. And from our collaborative hip-hop artist in residence and training program with Push Dance Company, Emerge. And yes, an interdisciplinary showcase of 6 fabulous Black hip hop artists from the Bay Area. It's going to be at the Bayview Opera House, and we know already, I mean, Smiley said how fabulous it is there, and it is true. And it's from 5 to 8. So this afternoon, we are going to witness the grace and power of Duhon Solian. And he's part of our Black Futures Artist in Residency program. We feel very blessed to have him in our studio and for him to be just pouring his incredible artistry into our space, into our walls, and into our lives. So thank you, Duhon. Yeah.
But I'm Duhon. I am one of the Black future artists that joined the state in Bayview. I'm an implant in San Francisco. I grew up in Brooklyn, Florida, and I moved out here in 2013 to go to Lions Ballet training program. And since then, I stayed in the city, choreographed, networked, made I'm in architecture school right now. Ooh, thank you. I'm in architecture school right now, working on my thesis. And my thesis is looking at trauma in the Bayview from an architectural lens and trying to figure out what architectural devices can somatically support healing. But yeah, I'll share that when I figure that out. But yeah, I'm gonna offer a movement for about 4 minutes. Please enjoy. Gratitude to you all for being here. Gratitude to Joanna for inviting me. And yeah, enjoy.